My name is Mr. Teng, and I am the Math and Science tutor from A Scorers. So the purpose of this video is for me to go through the P6 standard questions. So circumference is just 2 times pi times r. Okay, area of circle is just pi times r, or pi r squared. Okay, so here is the special part, which is a half leaf. So where exactly is the half leaf? So this, you can see my pointer. This is the half leaf, and this is the radius. So to find the area of a half leaf, we have to take the area of a quadrant, right? How to find a quadrant? Quadrant is actually a quarter circle, right, minus a triangle. So that's how you find the area of a half leaf. Okay, next you have an arrowhead. So this is what we call an arrowhead. So to find the area of an arrowhead, you take the square minus the area of a quadrant, right? You find the arrowhead, right? So for example, this is circles, right? And then question number 1. Okay, this is the answer, right? It's 55.86. Okay, so how do we get that? Let's look at the next slide. So in this slide, we have the solution. Okay, you can see that over here, we need to find the the radius of a circle is 7. Okay, so radius is this part. So we're supposed to find the area of the unshaded part. Now the unshaded part is actually 4 half leaves, right? Now taking pi equals to 2.14. First, we find the area of the circle. So the area of the circle is pi times r, right? Which will give us 153.86. Okay, that's the area of the circle. Now find the area of 4 triangles. So the area of 4 triangles is 4 times half times base times height. Okay, so this is the base of the triangle, right, which is 7, right, and this is the height of the triangle, which is also 7, right? So this is the triangle that I'm trying to find, right? And because there are 4 of them, right, I multiply by 4, so the area of 4 of them would be 98. Now to find the area of the unshaded part, I just have to take the area of the circle minus 98, okay, and I get 55.86. This is question number 2. So I try to find the area of the unshaded part. So the area of the unshaded part is actually the arrowhead, okay? And recall how to find the area of arrowhead. Just take the area of the square minus the area of the quadrant. Okay, but this is quite tricky because in this question, the area of the square is 16, right? But I did not give you the radius. So you need to find what is the radius, okay? So the radius here, because the area is 16, okay, let me give you a clue, right? For those who do not know how to do, the radius is actually 4. This is also 4 because 4 times 4 gives you 16. Okay, so now you know the radius, you can find the area of the arrowhead. Right, did you get 3.44? The area of the arrowhead, the unshaded part. Right, here's the solution. Right, so the first thing is you must know that the side is 4, this 4. And then after that, you find the area of the quadrant, okay, which is the black color shaded part. 1/4 times pi times r, right? You get 12.56. And the area of unshaded part is basically the area of the square. Take away the quadrant and you get 3.44, right? Okay, next question. So for solution for the third one it's actually very simple. You don't have to go and find the quadrant or the arrowhead, okay? There's a shortcut. So the shortcut is actually to shift this black color bit into here and the other black color quadrant into the white color quadrant. So eventually you will get this semicircle shape with 2 squares inside. So to find the area of the shaded figure, all you have to do is to take the area of the semicircle and then minus the 2 squares, right? So that will conclude the circle portion for P6 standard. So now for the second part. Now the second part is about heuristics, right? This heuristic is called before and after. Now before and after is part of their syllabus. That means I would say at this point of time, as P6 students, most of them would have gone through before and after. Now, before and after can also come in many names. That means they may not know this as before and after. It can be uh, external unchanged, right? The school may call it different things, right? So it's okay if they have different names for the same type of questions, right? So there'll be only three types that we are going through this time. Okay, it is the single unchanged, total unchanged, and the difference unchanged. So in every before and after questions, there will be this characteristics before and after scenario. Okay, so of course this is a question given to them. They have to come up with this table themselves. Now for every before and after, right, you're going to have some kind of a scenario before. So you see this, there's a ratio 2:5, that is before the change. And then after that, there's something happened. You see this, Candy spent $45 on a dress. So Candy spent $45 on a dress. And then after that, the ratio became 1:3, right? You see the ratio became 1:3. So they have to come up with this table, right? So in this particular situation, we call it single unchanged. Reason is very simple. It's because one of the variable did not change. Now, which are the variable? We have a Candy and Jenny. So in this case, Jenny did not change. What do we mean by Jenny did not change? Because if you look at the question, right, Candy spent $45. Now, did Jenny spend any money? No. So that means the amount of money that Jenny has should be the same before and after. However, if you look at the table, and which is what the question has presented to us, here it shows 5 and here it shows 3. So it doesn't make sense, okay, because they are supposed to be the same. So the trick to solving single unchanged question is to make this 5 and 3, to find the common multiple between 5 and 3. So what is the common multiple between 5 and 3? It's 15. So to make this 15, the first row got to multiply by 3. That is why we get 6 and 15 here. Now the second row, which is the after, you got to multiply by 5, which is why you get 5 and 15. So once you have achieved the single unchanged, which is Jenny, remain the same, you can now compare the ratio between before and after. So we know that at first there's 6, and then after that there's 5. And this is after removing $45. That means clearly 1 unit equals to $45, and we want to find 15 units because the question is how much did Jenny have? So Jenny has 15 units. Okay, so since we know 1 unit is 45, so 15 units equals to $675. Okay, so this is what I'll be explaining. Okay, so the question that we're giving them is over here, right? If we like giving them some time. Now, typically per question, they have about 5 minutes to solve, right? So you can give them like 3 to 5 minutes, okay? So this is a single unchanged. What this means is that there's one person's variable that did not change. So if you read the story, you realize that, hey, Carol spent $40, but Jimmy didn't spend any money. So Jimmy should be the same, okay? Right, so here we make them 15 units, and because the common multiple is 15 again, so the first row got to times 3, second row got to times 5, so you get 5 here. And you realize that 4 units equals to $40, 9 units equals to 90. Why we find 9 units? Because we want to find out how much money did Carol have at first, okay? So Carol has $90, right? 9 units. Yeah, correct. Next. So this is the second one. It's the same thing, single unchanged, right? So just identify who did not change in this case. So Jack did not change, make Jack the same, same thing. We go through this. The answer is $30. Okay, now for the second type of heuristic. Now the second type of before and after heuristics is called total unchanged. In total unchanged, the total of the two variables never change. So in this example, I use the book, okay, because in the book, there are some pages that this Chelsea has read, and then there are some pages, obviously, if you read some pages, there'll be some pages that is not read. So it does not matter how many pages you have read, because, and of course, because when you add the number of pages you have not read and the number of pages you have read, end up the total number of pages in the book will remain the same. Okay, right? So that is what this is about. So let's look at this question, right? So Chelsea read some book, number of pages read, the number of pages not read, so it's 5. So same thing, you come with the table. They are supposed to come with the table themselves, right? So this table, okay, before is 1:5. After reading some 150 pages, it became 1:2, right? So now you realize that here is plus 150 and then here is minus 150. Why? Because if you read additional 150 pages, the number of pages you have not read would automatically reduce by the number of pages you have read. Okay, but because the number of pages in the book will not change, it should be the same. But currently, it's not the same. So what do we do to make it the same? We got to multiply by 2 this whole row. Okay, so we get 2 and 4 and 6 here. Okay, so once you have made this total equal, you can compare the ratio. And here you realize that, hey, if I take 1 unit plus 150, it becomes 2 units. I take 5 units and minus 150, it becomes 4 units. So 1 unit has to be 150. And they're asking about what is the total number of pages in the book. There are 6 units because you get 1 plus 5, yeah? So total 6 units. So there are 900 pages in the book. So next one. So this question number 1 is very similar to the previous example. The example was about a book. This is about the magazine. All right. So I'm going to jump straight to the solution, right? So this is total and change again, right? Because the number of pages in the magazine will not change. But over here, this is 3. So I need to make this 2. To make this 2, the entire row got to multiply by 2. Okay, and we get this new ratio here. So you can then deduce that 1 unit equals to 50, right? And I want to find 6 units because that's the total number of pages in the magazine. Okay, question number 2. So in question number 2, we are not using books or magazines, right? But we have a situation where we have 2 persons, right? And then Peter gives Bala certain sum of money. So the thing to note is that it doesn't matter how much money one party gives to another, right? Because the total between the 2 persons are going to be the same. Okay, I can give you this amount, or both you add together will still be the same. Okay, so that's why they have to identify. Well, of course in the actual PSLE, they will not be told that this is total unchanged, right? They have to figure out themselves that this is total unchanged. Okay, so which variable did not change? It's the total amount of money. Total amount of money did not change here, so we gotta make these the same. Okay, the total to make it 21. Okay, common multiple. So to do that, here you got the times 3 and here you got times 7, and we get our new set of ratio, which tells us that 1 unit equals to 50. Okay, comparing this, yeah. Right, so 1 unit 50, what's the total amount of money? Sorry, how much money do you have? Okay, so they want the total sum. So the total sum is actually 21 units. So that's why here is 21 units, right? So it's $1,050. Okay, next. Okay, now last but not least, we have difference unchanged. So for difference unchanged, as what the name suggests, right? The difference between the two doesn't change, shouldn't change. Why? Now here's one example. Jimmy and Vera, they have the same, they have a certain number of ratio. Now both of them gave away the same number. Okay, both gave away the same number. So if you both give away the same number, the difference shouldn't change. So look at here, this is 2 units, 3 units, right? So this is the ratio before and this is the ratio after. I should make this the same. So to make them the same, I got the times 3 here, this one times 2, and I get 6, right? And then I compare the difference, which tells me that 13 units is equals to 26. right? So looking at the second set of ratio, after I've made the difference the same, I found that 13 units equals to 26. So 1 unit equals to 2, and why am I looking for 21 units? Is because I want to find the number of marbles Vera had at first. So the number of marbles Vera had at first is here. Okay, it's 21 units. So some students will be like, hey, shouldn't I find this instead of 21? Why am I not finding 7 units instead of 21 units? Reason very simple. Because 21 units, right? Because, wait, let me clear the thing. Because the 21 units, okay, the 21, the 1 unit equals to 2, right? Is derived from this, ratio. Okay, this table. So you cannot use this number, right? You gotta use this number. Okay, the 2 here is derived from this table. Okay, so we don't use back the old table. You now have the new table. Is all right? So Vera had 42. Okay. Right, so question 1 is very similar to the example that I have, right? So basically it's difference unchanged. The difference between the two should not change because they both gave away the same number. Okay, so I'm not going to go through. You can take a look at the solution. Shouldn't be too difficult. The next one is another typical question that a lot of students they have problem trying to solve. Why? Because it's about age, right? So the age, now look at this, yeah? So the ratio of Charles to Damien's age is 5:9. So in 14 years time, the ratio became 4:7. So what's Damien's age now? Now the total never changed. Why? Okay, sorry, this is not total never changed. This difference unchanged. So I spotted a mistake. Okay, this difference unchanged. This is not total, right? So I'm gonna edit this later on. Okay, now the difference doesn't change. Why? Because the difference between the age remains the same. Okay, the difference between the age of Charles and Damien should remain the same. So they should figure that out, right? And here is the working. Okay, so you see the first one you don't have to multiply by anything, right? But the second row here you got to times 4 because the difference should be 4. So the second row when you multiply by 4 you get 12 and 16, so it's 4 units. And the difference here is about 7. So 7 units equals to 14, 1 equals to 2, and we're going to find Damien's age now, which is 9 units. Hence, Damien is 18 years old. Okay, so that concludes our heuristics, right, for P6 standard.